It is winter of senior year, and those who applied to colleges in the fall are now getting responses. Out of the 5,300 colleges in the United States, Penn State is the only school I applied to as a senior. My peers and advisors told me this wasn't a smart idea, to only apply to one school that is fairly competitive, but I did it anyways. The odds turned out to be in my favor, and I was accepted. So now that I was accepted to Penn State, I had to tell my parents that I actually want to attend Penn State. So this for me was a rather challenging task. I think the reason why I found it so challenging is because I am both a first generation student and child. So the whole concept of college and going to college is really new, strange, and a huge deal. So naturally, I was very nervous to tell them and hear their reaction. It was a Saturday morning that I received the news of Penn State's acceptance, and I was just sat on my bed, literally reading the letter over and over. I'm so excited, but so anxious at the same time. So after rehearsing for like half an hour on what I planned to say to them, I finally built up the courage and walked downstairs with my laptop in my hand. As I approached the kitchen table, I felt my anxiety building up. I was wondering how I was even going to attempt to get the words out my mouth. I placed the laptop on the kitchen table and I shared the news in the room full of gloom. I guess my parents didn't want their little girl to move 3 hours away or be completely on her own when she had been living dependent on them for 18 years. I understood their concerns, but this was simply the next step into adulthood I must take, and the endless amounts of opportunities Penn State offers encouraged me to do so. Fast forward to August 15, 2017. It was a beautiful and warm summer day, just the perfect amount of sunshine and clouds at a hot but comfortable temperature. This was also the day I was set to say goodbye to my friends, family, neighbors' pets, everyone I knew. This day was a combination of sadness, excitement, and anxiousness. I say goodbye to my longtime high school friend, Beth, and to my nieces, and to my neighbor's dog, Princess. As I was saying goodbye to everyone, it kept on replaying in my head that for the next 4 years, I would be known as the girl that is away at college. And it was weird, because this was not our norm. This was something new. As I was packing the car and spending these last moments with my family, I was struck with the realization that I was actually moving away, almost 3 hours away. And honestly, this scared me and made me feel so anxious for my future. Looking at the packed car, it was basically everything I owned. And to think I was taking all my belongings 3 hours away made me beyond frightened. It is August 16th, 2017, 7 a.m., and we begin our road trip to Penn State. My dad is driving, my mom is in the passenger, and my sister, cousin, and I are in the back. It felt like old times considering I spent the majority of my childhood with them. We were in State College and we looked out our windows in awe. There's something about this town that was rather interesting, I guess you would say. I have visited University Park about 4 times in the past 5 years, but for whatever reason, when I was with my family, the campus felt much more massive. All the buildings in my eyes looked identical, and I just thought to myself, how long will it take me to know the streets, the shortcuts, and the ways of University Park by heart? We were circling East Residential Halls for the correct building and to find parking, and my family and I were shocked to see how identical all the halls looked to one another. We finally find Geary Hall, grabbed 2 carts, load them, and entered the building. Although I am extremely grateful for the opportunity to further my education at Penn State, the sight of the elevators concerned my family and I. I find it humorous that according to my mother, the condition of the elevators in a building defines the condition of the entire building, and to a certain degree, she was right. When she saw the supplemental room, my mom burst into tears. She thought the 1960s style of the room was hideous and was upset about the limited space and storage. This made me staying up here harder for her. Once we got over how the room looked, we began unpacking. We began to unpack my clothes and put them in drawers. We organized and styled my desk. We put the covers and sheets on the bed. We also hung up some lights. And it started to feel cozy. So then comes the part I was dreading, the part I did not want to come. I walked my family to the parking lot and we said our goodbyes. First, I hugged my sister and my cousin goodbye, then my father, and lastly my mother. My mom was the hardest because she's the most emotional, and because moving 140 miles away, it would be extremely difficult for her to just check up on me. After many hugs and kisses and goodbyes, I toughed it out as I saw the car driving away. However, while looking at the car drive away, I stared at the family stickers on the back that had my parents, my sister, and I, and our imaginary pet, and started bawling. It was a difficult departure, but it also reminded me that changes are not supposed to be comfortable, and that this is the beginning of the new chapter in my life. After being at school for 2.5 weeks, I decided to visit home for Labor Day weekend. After this trip, I realized that being at school was a temporary goodbye, and it was not permanent. And even if it was permanent, it was time for me to let go of these feelings that are holding me back and embrace the changes that come with this new chapter in my life.